Lee here, and welcome to the poll list for July 6, 2014, presented by LongboxRadio.com. This week from DC Comics, we have Batman Eternal number 18. In this particular issue, we appear to have Lieutenant Bard, I guess is his name, and Batman, the Killer Croc, is in tow. So, cool stuff. There's like 3 different stories going on here, and I open up the first few pages, and it looks like we're going to hit Brazil. But Batgirl, Red Hood, and Batwoman seem to be on some kind of team. There's Batwing and his compatriot there in the Arkham Asylum, dealing with all kinds of crazy stuff. So the book's kind of split off into a bunch of different paths at this point. And I'm curious to see where all that leads up. But it looks like Batman has a heavy presence in this one, which is good, because he's been kind of light in the last few issues of Batman Eternal. But when it's a weekly book, what can you do? Ferris, number 28, coming to us from Vertigo Comics, of course. Really digging the cover there, of course, which is another A.H. Adam Hughes cover. That one's super neat. Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing had to deal with a kind of gauntlet of fleshy creatures, and they thought they'd, I guess, is his name Weed? Mr. Weed? The chubby bald guy who's kind of like mastermind. I think his name's Weed, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he failed. So I guess it's Ladyface's turn here to try to take down the Swamp Thing. No one can beat the Swamp Thing. Cool stuff. Curious to see where that book goes in the future. Speaking of awesome stuff, I didn't realize that this cover... well, if you haven't been reading the book, basically this is Danny Rand, this is Iron Fist, and that's the actual state of his hands right now after they are crushed by just this abomination that is posing as his father, I think is what I remember reading in the last issue of this. Regardless, really cool book. Really digging Iron Fist, the Living Weapon. That's from Carol Andrews, who does the art and the writing for this particular book. But I'm curious to see where he goes. You know, Iron Fist, not so much at the moment. Going over to Spider-Man, specifically Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man, here tangling with Peter Parker Spider-Man, who's back, surprise, in the Ultimate Universe, and we haven't quite figured out why that is yet. But that's issue 4, of course, coming right there, and there you can see Peter Parker Spider-Man just ripping the clothes off of Miles Morales. Moon Knight number 6. Pretty standard cover there. I believe this is like the alt cover to the first issue, which was the white mask, black and white font. But for more analysis, and I have no idea what to tell you is going on in this book, because it is kind of like an issue-to-issue thing going on in Moon Knight. So, cool book if you can get into it. New Avengers, the last issue of this was completely bananas. This is issue 22. Issue 21, we had... It's a bunch of stuff go down. We have the well, Captain America's in the Avengers book. We see what happens with him going through the future with the time gem and stuff like that. And then in the New Avengers book, Doctor Strange is on the warpath, taking out the heroes from the colliding Earth. So they knock him out to stop him from going like full evil, I guess. But he was already pretty much there. So he's super upset with all the Avengers that he made this huge sacrifice to save them, essentially, and they shot it back in his face, and they're just like, no, that's okay. And then there's a whole thing with T'Challa, the Black Panther, and the ghostly Black Panther apparitions. There was like fathers and the forefathers and whatnot, because he picks up the device which has the bomb sitting on the colliding Earth. If you read this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, I'm speaking gibberish. But basically, there's a bomb sitting on this colliding Earth in this parallel dimension. Our heroes in the 616 Marvel Universe have to destroy this other planet to save everyone on the planet. But in doing so, they're destroying an entire universe, or Earth, filled with people, just like, you know, them. So no one can bring themselves to do it. Black Panther tries it, no one else can do it. Namor finally grabs it and detonates it. So crazy stuff, man. Really good book. And then finally, I wasn't going to pick this up, but this is the Spear of Spider-Man number 32. I guess there was really no question that I would eventually pick this up, but it's, you know, Spider-Verse, the edge of the Spider-Verse, it begins here. So who am I to not pick up this book? We got stories and art from a bunch of people on the bottom. Slott and Gage, of course, most prominently figured. So there we go. So this is the 32nd issue of Superior Spider-Man, which did end at issue 31, and we're already in Amazing Spider-Man, but let's dip back, shall we? So I'm assuming we're going to see some untold story from the Superior Spider-Man timeline that will then put into motion the Edge of the Spider-Verse, and we're all very curious to see the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man after his hot makeout with Silk. So anyways, that is the poll list for this week. There's some free digital codes here. We got Iron Fist, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Moon Knight, New Avengers, and the Spider-Verse all have free digital codes. So let's do the first 3, Moon Knight, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and Iron Fist. They'll be available at the end of this video. The other 2 I will post sometime during the week, so make sure you're following at Longbox Radio. My other endeavor, Turn-Based Attack, we just did some Let's Play-esque videos, so check those out on Turn-Based Attack on YouTube or the website itself very shortly. But that's it. Thank you for watching. I ran a little long there, but it's all good. So we'll see you next week. Happy reading.